Hey everybody, welcome to the Fractured Focus reaction to Episode 3, Season 7 of Game of Thrones, The Queen Justice. I'm one of your hosts, Ben Gordon, and coming in live from the great state of Nebraska, the original Swinehart of Omaha himself, Mr. Matt Swinehart. Matt, how you doing?
I am doing good.
Let's jump right into it. What'd you think? Say what?
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I was gonna do some small talk. But
Oh,
we can get
that's
right into
you know
it.
what? Let's absorb.
You know
let's go ahead and jump into the pleasantries too. How was your weekend?
You know what? Good weekend.
Mhm.
I feel like I got a lot accomplished. No, it was good. It was good.
That's good.
You know, being 40 now, yeah, it doesn't feel much different.
The golfing
But anyway,
was just that much better.
It was, honest to God. I'm not a good golfer, and to go out there and actually do good is something that surprises me. But no, excited, super excited to talk about the episode.
I was going to say, that's probably why you did so well at golfing, because you were excited that we were going to get another Game of Thrones episode literally within the next 24 hours.
That's all I was thinking about. When I'm hitting and stuff, I'm like, Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into it. What'd you think?
I have to say, this may be my favorite episode
This
ever.
episode was awesome. It was awesome.
This is so fucking awesome. So many twists and turns and just throwny like you can't believe.
I'm still amazed how they're able to constantly keep surprising us, because you're kind of when the cast is dwindled down to the size it is as they're kind of wrapping this up with the final 2 seasons, you're like, how many twists can they really throw at you? And the whole from everything from Casterly Rock going exactly not the way everybody thought it was going to go to, well, without spoiling everything that happened, which we're obviously going to do in this reaction, but let's go ahead and jump into this. The first thing that we saw in the episode, and probably I thought my favorite part of the episode, that's hard because there was a lot of good stuff. I don't even know if I can say that.
I don't know.
But the meeting of Jon Snow and Daenerys.
They jumped right into it.
God.
Yeah. It was fucking awesome.
And wasn't it cool as shit?
We didn't have to wait for it halfway through the episode. It was there.
And everything that happened seemed like it felt right organically. It didn't feel forced. As we were leading up to the episode, I had a little bit of a concern, like, is this going to be, now that the episodes are condensed, or we're only getting 7 this season, are they going to jump through this stuff too fast? Are they going to basically have 5 minutes of banter, and then Jon Snow and Daenerys are buddies now? And I'm like, that just wouldn't feel right, but I've got a feeling that's what they need to do to progress. And that didn't happen like at all.
No.
I loved Tyrion's role through all this, because he was kind of the common mediator between both of them, and all the words coming out of him, I'm just like, man, this is their writing at their best. I fucking love this.
I love it, because Tyrion had such a predominant role in this episode, and then the way it ended, it's just like, shit your pants, right? I mean, it's not for us, but like, you know, you have to go back and tell this.
Yeah.
So no, the whole fucking episode was awesome.
Yeah,
I loved it. I mean, I'm still pumped up from it, and maybe, you know, we could do a reaction in 2 days and see how I feel. But I mean, I remember I'm mowing the yard this morning, and I'm thinking, I'm like, what's gonna happen? What's Arya gonna do? You know, how's this gonna happen?
I don't think she's
like,
going
all
to.
All this thing's running through my mind. And granted, she was not in this episode,
right?
But this episode kicked fucking ass.
I've got a feeling Arya is not going to Winterfell. I think she did change her mind when she saw Lymeria, and she's going to King's Landing.
God, I hope so.
There was another twist. We were all excited to see Arya reunite at Winterfell, and instead what we got, something I didn't even think about, didn't even pop in my head. Holy shit, Brandon Stark reunited with Sansa.
That damn near brought me to tears.
Me too. I'm like
watching this, and I'm like, that is fucking awesome. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it, and you'd think we should be, right? We saw him come through the Castle Black.
Last episode, yeah.
But holy crap, that was so awesome. And man, you can tell right away that Brandon Stark has really changed now. A lot of people were wondering if Jon Snow was going to be a lot different when he came back from the dead, and he's basically the same guy. But Brandon is clearly different now that he's the three-eyed raven. And
he almost doesn't care. And I love it.
Well, he's kind of got almost that omnipotent, you know, like a godlike kind of viewpoint right now, where he's kind of almost not playing a role. He's just viewing everything, and he has insights to stuff. But I thought that was kind of clever how they hinted at stuff, but he didn't. So do you think, does Brandon Stark know that I'm assuming he does, that Jon Snow is the actual son of Targaryen and Stark?
He definitely knows.
Okay.
He knows because he witnessed the vision.
No, we did. But I didn't know if it was
in there.
I didn't know if it was hinted at because when she's whispering it to Ned, I guess it wasn't clear. We assumed it was, and even when he said I have to talk to John, we assume that's what it is. But I guess I didn't know if that was for sure that he heard what she whispered to him. That it's really. I mean, I'm assuming even if he didn't hear what Lyanna whispered to Ned, she would still figure out. Oh my God, there's a baby. That's got to be John. I mean, yeah, you're right. There's no way he can't know. So that's got to be it. But he didn't tell Sansa.
He came back from the war with a child, a bastard child, because Ned didn't say this is Rhaegar Targaryen's child and Leona's.
Yeah.
Right. So Brandon knows.
Yeah, you're right.
He saw the birth of John.
You're right. He's envisioned it. Yep. But he didn't tell. He knows. How is he going to play that out? Cersei. No. I'm just wondering.
No, I don't think he's ever going to tell anyone other than John. You think John will find out at some point who his actual birth parents are because Ned promised the next time he saw him that he would tell him who his parents were.
I wonder if Brandon almost doesn't tell him until it's like all the fighting and everything is done and he finds out at the very, very end too. I mean, I guess we don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it's how do you play it? How do you play that hand?
Yeah. But Sansa's doing a hell of a good job ruling though.
Yeah, a little too much little finger though. I'm like, I understand you want to listen to him, but
I mean, there was that one scene where he's trying to give her advice, but for the rest of it, when she's just giving orders to everybody else, it didn't seem like it was conniving. It was just more like preparations.
No, she was doing fantastic in that role, and he even complimented her on it. He's like, "You were born for this, right?" So no, it's like why are they not putting leather on that armor because it's going to get cold, right?
Right.
So no, that aspect of it, he's like, I don't want to call it grooming, but he's at least like.
He's still exerting his influence as much as he can.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So he's still trying to play the game. Littlefinger is still in the game.
He's just hovering around.
He's not done. He's not done. No.
There's no way he's not going to influence something to make something else terrible fucking happen. And I think we all know that going into this. Yeah. We're just like watching it because it's constantly in front of you. You're like, when is he going to fuck shit up? We know he is. That's the only reason he's around. It makes you nervous just having him fucking around there. Now Brandon Stark is back, but you know what I thought also was really cool is when we got to see Jon Snow and Davos come up there, and Melisandre, who is actually the one who suggested that they have the meeting, definitely took a step back, which I guess, holy shit, of course she would, because Davos even can't stand her, wants to kill her, and that's definitely not going to hurt or not going to help.
Jon pretty much told her the next time I see you, I'm going to kill you.
If he came back up north. Yeah, I doubt they would kill her when they went down to where she was, but you're right, that's still a gray area. But I thought it was interesting that, well, of course, why would she be there for it? It's just going to hurt their credibility and Melisandre's. There's no reason that's to come up, and I didn't even think about it, but obviously, as hard as it is to get across that, hey, there's this huge army of the dead, and that is realistic. I love the way Tyrion put it when he's like, what you're asking is unreasonable. People to believe something like this, you've got to take baby steps and let's work a little bit together. It's not just all or nothing, and just this grand gesture of hope was really cool. And the fact that Davos and Jon Snow did not tell them that he came back from the dead, they almost went into it and then they stopped themselves. I thought that was which makes sense because this has got to be going through their head. We're already going with enough of a stretch right now, just trying to convince these people that there's an army of the dead and you need to change your focus.
Well, yeah, and like Jon turned to him, he's like, we're not talking.
Back. If they're having a hard time believing us now, this is not going to add anything to the mix. But that whole dynamic
Davos, awesome.
Yeah.
Like the role he played in the whole thing, great. I mean, I love kind of the bumbling aspect of it at the beginning. Like, this is John from the north.
Yeah. Wasn't that awesome?
That's it.
Danny's name goes for 5 minutes long, and he's like, this is Jon Snow. And I was hoping he was just going to stop right there and not even say King of the North. Just, this is John.
But that was so well scripted and played. I mean, that's it. Just in a way, it almost added to Danny's whole view of him.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's like, and in a way, I think it helped him.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't talked up to be this great thing.
Right. They're both skeptical.
Then once Sir Davos spoke up, and he's like, "No, this is who he actually is." I mean, I know I sold him short earlier, but and then Jon was just like cutting him off. He's like, "Yeah, she doesn't need to know all that."
Yeah, they're both skeptical of each other as well as it makes sense. That of course they should be. They don't know each other that well.
No shit. I mean, think about it though. I mean, now that I've watched the episodes, I've gone back and watched some of the other things, like the lore of Game of Thrones or whatever it might be, and I've seen that Rickon and Brandon were burned by the Mad King.
Right.
He called them there and frickin' burned them alive with Dragonfire.
Mm-hmm. Which was what started the basic of the whole war.
Yeah, that was her dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so like knowing that aspect of it, I mean, it's almost like I kind of love how they didn't just all of a sudden like hug. It was this great thing, right?
Yeah.
There needs to be that
level of complexity.
Thinks who she is. Yeah, she's going to be who she is. John doesn't want to be who he is.
Right.
Because he even said, the things I'm good at, I don't want to be good at.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's killing people. That's war. That's fighting.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, no, that part of it, that was fantastic.
It was so fulfilling because it ended in a way that started a good potential friendship, which is going to happen because they're both such great people. I mean, well, I guess you never know with this series, but...
Well, I mean, they're cousins, right?
Actually, Jon Snow is technically her nephew because Rhaegar was her brother, and Rhaegar is his dad. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I guess I didn't know the whole lineage.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that
because the Mad King's kids. Yeah, the Mad King's kid was Rhaegar, Viserys, and Dany. And so Rhaegar died in battle to Robert Baratheon. Viserys was an asshole that took her over and sold her off to Khal Drogo and all that kind of stuff.
And he got his crown of gold. Right?
Oh, can you? I just really hope at some point we get to the point where Dany finds out that Jon Snow is actually like her family. I really hope that comes across because I could see them just not even needing to have that in the series at all. But that would be so fucking cool if that was the case.
It would be cool if it like at moments they like they just like kind of connect on certain things, but it's never said.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that would be awesome.
Yeah. But I love the way that their interaction ended with they clearly respect each other more than they did at the beginning when they were kind of bickering back and forth like, I don't know you. And I love the dialogue that they just had in this when he's like, of course I don't blame you for your father's mistakes, but also you can't hold me to the oath of my great relatives and stuff like that. That's just normal.
That echoed so much with episode 2 when he's like, we're not going to hold the children accountable for their father's mistakes.
Yeah.
When he's saying, we're going to let these kids keep their kingdoms.
Right.
Or their realms or whatever it is. And we're not going to take those from them and put somebody else in place. And that was like completely echoed in this episode for that same thing.
Yep. God, that was just so... I didn't know how this was going to go. I was hoping it was going to be too rushed. It wasn't. It delivered exactly what we needed to see. I'm assuming that he's going to be mining the dragon glass and then he's going to take off right now where they're just on a mutual level of respect and haven't decided anything about fealty or whatever. And obviously we'll see them back together again at some point. But that was really cool. And then I also loved Tyrion just playing the role of the moderator and also kind of just the level-headed common sense. Let's just try this. How about this? Let's try to mend these fences, or if you want to call it that, a step at a time. And there's almost a little bit of foreshadowing coming from Olenna because everything Tyrion said that they're going to do with their armies made complete sense, and none of it happened the way it like we expected.
No, exactly.
None of it.
It's clearly Tyrion is not the military mind that he thinks he is, and I think the Lannisters proved that. I mean, they gave up Casterly Rock, which was like that was going to be their strong moment.
Yeah.
But then when I saw the armies marching on Highgarden, it was like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like they already know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then the way the episode ended, awesome.
When
like,
Jamie actually
that
said,
actress leave. I hate she was so good.
Yeah.
At that, and I can't remember her name, and I apologize.
Olenna.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So when Olenna leaves, or I guess what we saw is her leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "No, it's going to be painless. I wanted to make sure of that." And then he finds that out. I'm sure that he would have loved to have given her something else.
Didn't you wonder at that moment if he was just going to pull out his sword and put it right through her throat at that moment?
Oh, I thought for a second he would.
Yeah, I thought that's what we're going to see.
Knife her right in the neck.
I even love how he said, me leaving Casterly Rock to come over here when she even says this is totally not what we expected at all. He said, this is what I learned from Robb Stark.
Yeah.
Because that's what Robb did to actually capture him.
That was fantastic. Yes, yes.
God, these seeds that have been planted years in advance have worked out so fucking well, and they're still constantly so unexpected. The fact that we have a show of this caliber, with this high of a budget, with this great of acting and special effects.
In the 7th season.
Yeah.
Still
and it still keeps getting better.
Yeah.
is so fucking rare. I wonder how long it's going to be before we get a show of this caliber again after this goes away, because this is such
I don't
a
want to think about it. I don't want to think about it.
It's a little depressing.
I don't.
That was fucking awesome. Getting to see Jesus, how absolutely what a monster Cersei is, but then there's also that little element where she kind of gets like how much she was upset when you took my daughter from me, but man, when Cersei wants to exact revenge, holy shit.
You think, yeah, you're going to be here and you're going to see her die.
Yeah.
In the same way that my daughter died, but then also you're going to watch her body waste away.
Oh my.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for a better villain.
And watching Euron Greyjoy fuck with Jaime Lannister, I'm like, man, dude, you are playing with fire here, Mr. Crazy Guy, because you got a huge army that's clearly you are a fucking madman dominating force.
You may think you're something on a ship, but you ain't shit.
To tease him about getting in bed with his sister, knowing their relation, I'm just like, dude, there's no way Jaime's not going to just absolutely kill you. When she even said you'll have what you want, which obviously means marriage, after the war is over, do you think that there is a chance in hell that they don't fucking kill this guy? There's no way Cersei would ever marry this guy. There's no way.
Jaime would rather murder his own sister than watch that guy win.
You know, that brings up, I loved Olenna's line right before she drinks that potion to kill herself, about everything she's saying is true. Man, you are so in love with Cersei. You are completely blind to what an absolute monster she is. And if you're that far gone at this point, then there's no hope for you. And I was actually surprised that even said, yeah, maybe, or yeah, probably, or whatever it was. Like, he's almost kind of aware of it. Jaime's got to be the one that eventually kills Cersei. It's just got to be.
Yeah, I mean, that is maybe not Jaime himself. Maybe Arya is Jaime.
Maybe. Oh, that, yeah.
I mean, that might make some sense.
That's
right?
a possibility there, too. God, it was so cool watching Jon Snow and Davos see dragons for the first time when they're just like, holy shit. Because you remember, no one has seen these things in hundreds of years.
Yeah.
But that whole take on Highgarden. Hey, we got to see, first of all, this is so cool. We got to see Casterly Rock and Highgarden for the first time.
Yeah, for the first time. Yeah,
and they happened so quick. And I like the fact, too, that they kind of... they didn't need to be long, drawn-out, half an episode-long battles. They just didn't need to be at this point. That served no purpose because, even if you take the Highgarden one alone, besides Jaime and Olenna, what characters would we even care about watching fight? You know?
That's true.
And the way that they did Casterly Rock is kind of a bait and switch, like, hey, they're thinking this, but we're really going to do this. I've got this little secret entrance that I knew from doing the gutters back in the day. And even though they did that and it worked, they still got fucked.
Yeah, they're so fucked. Yeah, because like Jaime said, it's like they're gonna have to leave it. They can't hold it,
and they don't have their ships to go back safely. Now they have to go through Westeros.
Yeah. Aragon left it, and so
Mm-hmm. You'd still think though with Daenerys' three
it
dragons,
left a ton of shit. I mean, but it's set it up for a ton of shit. But right now, the way it looks like without the North, Daenerys is fucked.
Is she, though? I mean, with three dragons, even if she wanted to, she could still take everything if she chose to.
She may have to start thinking like a dragon.
Yeah.
Like she said.
Because I think in the original history, and for those of you watching that know this stuff better than I do, let us know. But from what I recall is when Aegon Targaryen took over the Seven Kingdoms for the first time with three dragons, they had a very small army. Nothing like, Daenerys has, even what she has right now. But with three dragons, they could
burn things to the ground.
Exactly. And then basically everybody folded really quick. So she could.
Yeah, Aegon took out Harrenhal.
Right.
Which was like the biggest at the time, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's still in shit, right? Harrenhal still looks like it got fucking attacked by dragons.
Hundreds of years later. Yep.
Yeah.
So, but obviously she wants to avoid that as much as possible, which just shows, just like Tyrion said when he was talking with Jon Snow, and everyone's talking about their parents and what happened to them, is thank God all three of us or all of us are better than our parents. Because none of us want this. And clearly, Jon Snow, Tyrion, and Dany are the ones that should be running the show because they seem like the best people.
It may come down to that at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at some point when the White Walkers come over and it's known, I mean, I think that obviously Jon's already focused on it. I think Daenerys is going to have to be focused on it.
Yep.
And I think at some point, one of the Lannisters is going to have to realize there's going to be no kingdom to rule, just like Jon said.
Right.
If this happens. So who is that going to be? Is that going to be Cersei? Is it going to be kind of left in this dangling 3-part thing? Or is it going to be, what's going to happen? Because right now, Daenerys has the weakest claim to it because all she has is Dragonstone because she lost Highgarden. That's not there to support her anymore.
Yeah. Oh, and how...
if you notice, too, the Tullys were part of the invasion.
Oh, and we got to see Bronn was there, too. Remember that? We haven't seen him. He was just there for a second.
I did not see Bronn. I didn't see Bronn. Was he in that episode?
He was right next to the Tullys or whatever with the Lannister army on horseback. We only saw him for a second.
Oh, no. Yes, I did see him. Yes, yes.
But I didn't even think about that. When Cersei told the Iron Bank, which was also so great to see the Iron Bank playing a role back in here, and she's even calling them out that I know you're about to switch sides because that makes sense, but I love her speech she gives. And then when she says, wait a fortnight and I will have all of your money to pay back, I'm like, how the fuck are you going to do that? Because if your dad told you that your gold reserves have gone dry years ago and you have almost no support, how the fuck are you, even when your dad couldn't do this, pay them back? There's no fucking way. And they cut right to Highgarden. It's already been taken over, and they're counting the gold right there. And I'm like, holy shit. In one fucking move, they now have the Iron Bank supplying them with money for troops and whatever the fuck they need. And they've totally flipped the tables on Daenerys having the upper hand where that's not the case anymore. I mean, one could argue with the dragons, she still kind of does, but to accomplish what she wants, she can't use them like
it's at least it's at least bringing them kind of like
more parity.
But it brings it with parity without the North.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I think you're right from last episode. I don't think the North is going to come south. That's not going to happen right now because the North is focused on the White Walkers and
they've been
like
fucked from doing that too many times just in the past few years. There's just no way that would be believable.
The North should just build a barrier and just say, no go.
You mean like a giant ice wall?
But lower than the current one. And be like, all you fucking idiots can stay down there.
Yeah.
We're going to live our lives in the North.
Yeah. So, God, I'm really wondering what it's finally going to take.
Walter Frey's bridge to the ground.
Yeah, the twins. I wonder what it's actually going to take for Daenerys to realize that Jon Snow is telling the truth. And I'm wondering if that's not going to come until the wall falls for whatever reason, if that's the big cataclysm that shakes it. Because
go back to episode 1 and the visions that the Hound saw on the fire.
That's right.
Where they were coming around the eastern coast.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, will it happen this season? I mean,
every time we try to guess something that goes the other route.
But the thing is, the only reason I think it happens this season is because of the production delays that they had.
Yeah, but they said that the delays weren't so much on special effects as much as they're shooting. Most of it, so much more of it this season took place in warmer climate, so they had to shoot it at a different time to match up with because of the climate. But, I mean, who knows? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I just have a feeling that at some point we're going to see the White Walkers in Westeros.
Yep, for sure.
Over the wall, and it's going to happen. I mean,
one of my favorite last shout-outs on the show that I love seeing is as short as we got Melisandre saying she's going back to Volantis, but she is going to come back.
I thought she was going to jump off that thing.
Yeah, I mean, who knows at that point? But
I thought she was going to jump off the cliff. She's like, I'm done. She'd take her necklace off, be an old woman.
Yeah,
and then she just kind of ragdoll down the hill. I almost expected it.
Maybe in the director's cut we'll see that someday. When
no, but clearly what she said at the end, and I think it's what you're getting to. I'll let you.
First of all, she said that Varys clearly is excited she's going. He clearly does not love the Red Priests at all, based on the magic that was done or what he heard when he was cut, when he was castrated in the first place.
Yeah.
He hates them, so he's like, good, don't ever come back here. Can't guarantee your safety. She goes, no, I'll definitely have to come back here at least once. I'm going to die in Westeros just like you will, which almost makes you think, does that mean of old age or does that mean in the war to come? We don't really know. But when she says, I brought together ice and fire, the whole series of books called A Song of Ice and Fire, I thought that was just fucking awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that was fantastic. But no, when it first started, I thought, I'm like, she's gonna jump. That was fantastic, and the reaction that Varys had when she said, "I'm gonna die in Westeros just like you."
Yeah,
and I don't think he ever intended on that. I mean, it wasn't something he'd planned on. But I kind of lost my point there.
Well, I tell you what, as much as the sides might be a little bit flip-flopping a little bit, and I know as much as Daenerys wants to avoid casualties just using her dragons like Aegon did, at some point she's going to have to, because what the fuck else would be the purpose of the show or the series of books if we didn't get at least some scenes besides what we've seen of her just taking down the fleet in way back in Marine, of her dominating a little bit with the dragons. We're going to have to see that in the show. So at some point, Elena's advice is going to have to come to fruition. God, now that you think about it, they telegraphed it. Elena said, don't trust the clever people, because everything Tyrion said made complete sense, and none of it fucking happened.
None of it worked out,
Uh-huh.
Yeah. No, I keep, there was something there. I apologize.
That's all right.
When we were talking about Melisandre, I'm trying to go back to it, trying to think, because I thought it was a good thing, but
if it comes to mind, we can talk about it in the next one.
But no, great episode.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I loved this episode. I mean, this right now being 45 minutes removed from it, one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Thrones episodes ever.
They keep getting better.
No, totally. Okay, Sam. No, okay.
Oh, right,
thought of it. Sam. So Sam curing Jorah Mormont, fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Right? That whole thing too. I mean, in the episode was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of love too that it was like, what, you're going to be rewarded for this? It was like, you're not, clearly,
because
you're still exchanging shit.
We're assuming that he was going to get kicked out for what he did, but the fact that his punishment is just to make a bunch of copies seems kind of fair based on. I mean, I was hoping he was going to.
It's fantastic that they make that realization that it's like, you did this and not.
I was hoping to some extent he was going to tell Jorah a little bit about. Because all he's really said is that I served for your father and I respect him. I'll do anything I can to help you. I was hoping, and I know that maybe it would have felt forced. That's probably why they didn't do it. He would have said something about Jon Snow's my best friend. He's awesome, blah, blah. I've seen the army of the dead. They're real. Because we know Jorah's going back to Daenerys right now. That would just be another element of support that, listen, this is really happening. This is truthful. But that might have been a little bit of a stretch. So I guess I can see why they didn't do that. But yeah, this episode was fucking awesome. I am so excited. We've got 4 left. And so far, each one of them has been awesome. So I'm super pumped for this too.
How long? Okay, so right now before we end it, how long before Jorah makes it back to Dragonstone?
As quick as everything's been happening in the season, they said it was going to be condensed, or they said stuff was going to move fast because it kind of has to. There aren't as many people on the playing field anymore that you can jump for stories to give more time. I would be surprised, not surprised, but I can definitely see him. Yeah, I could see him in the next episode being there on Dragonstone. Yeah. And if not, no big deal, but I could definitely see that.
You know what would be awesome? If he was on Dragonstone when Jon was still on Dragonstone and he recognized the sword.
Oh.
Because he's never seen Jon with the sword.
You're right, because he got that from Jorah's dad. That's right.
Yeah, but Jorah's dad carved a wolf in it instead of what
So would he even recognize it?
The bear or whatever?
Right.
No, but he's still going to know the sword. It's a Valyrian steel sword. There's only so many of them in Westeros.
Yeah. That could be another good. God, I can't believe how far back these threads go that are making more and more sense as stuff goes on.
What, the season 2?
This is
1?
This
might be
so
season
complex.
1.
Well, they've even been talking about stuff that happened before the series even started. With them talking about how my grandfather was burned by your dad, and I know that. Oh my God, I just love how everything's coming together with this. This is definitely not disappointing at all. But is there anything else you want to go over? I think that both of us would give this a perfect rating for an episode.
This is a fantastic episode. Definitely watch it.
Well,
hopefully you have.
If you're watching this before you watch that, you're fucking nuts.
Please watch it. This episode makes me want to go back and watch every other episode. Honest to God.
I think we're going to feel that way after the season's over. It's like it might be time for another just rewatch through because it's so much more. Yeah, you catch so much more the second time that you watch it.
Well, it's so much history in this. Yeah.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Well, for those of you watching, let us know what you think in the comments below. Are Matt and I right? Was this one of the best episodes of Game of Thrones yet? And the correct answer is yes, it was. But we respect everybody's opinion, but ours is the most right. Don't forget, you can always check us out for regular episodes of Fractured Focus at youtube.com/Fractured Focus, where we talk about everything from geek culture to nerd news, along with random topics thrown in for discussion. With that being said, until next week.